It is a landmark local restaurant, often hosting presidents and pop stars, with a panaderia in the main lobby. Bill Clinton called it one of his favorites.
Mi Tierra is part of a massive Mexican food empire owned by one family, entering its fourth generation and honoring their past on Dia de los Muertos.
The Familia Cortez has become a core part of the city's culture, and they are definitely more of the people who make San Antonio great. The Mexican marigold decorates altars for El Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, at historic Mi Tierra downtown.
It's not a scary holiday. It's not about ghouls and ghosts and things that Halloween might be about, but it's more about the culture and the tradition and memories.
Carreño Cortez knows about culture and memories at Mi Tierra. Her grandfather opened the landmark 77-year-old restaurant, which now dominates El Mercado along San Saba near Milam Park.
They taste the food, they hear the mariachi music, and they take their photograph in this gorgeously decorated Christmas lights everywhere restaurant space, and they'll have a story to tell when they leave here.
The Cortez family now owns 4 restaurants, employing 600 people and serving tasty Tex-Mex with a hefty side of Mexican culture to 1.5 million diners every year.
It's familia. It's familia. Our community is our family. And so we're here displaying the best of the best for our culture. And it's not just about making the taco. It's about feeding minds, souls, and spirits.
Carreño's grandfather, Pedro Cortez, opened the first family eatery here in 1941, feeding those San Antonio souls 24/7 with one counter and 3 small tables. And that's where it all started.
That's where it all started. And we add the pictures because it also gives you that feeling of home when you're in someone's kitchen or someone's living room. So a lot of family photos around here.
By the 1950s, he added a panaderia and helped the city upgrade El Mercado to reduce crime. By the 1980s and 90s, other restaurants followed, growing the Cortez food empire, now entering its 4th generation.
We've got this altar with several different family members and patrons. We've got my grandfather here in the middle with the glasses. Yeah. We've got the candles and the little lights that kind of light the ways.
Lighting the way, according to Mexican tradition, for ancestors' souls to return this time of year. But San Antonio's ancestors and stars are already honored every day in a giant Mi Tierra mural, which includes Henry B. Gonzalez, Medal of Honor recipient Roy Benavides, and modern additions Henry Cisneros and the Castro brothers.
A restaurant, a lot of times, is just a plate of food, but here at Mi Tierra, we'd like to say that we built memories.
Memories of la cultura y la cocina feeding la ciudad. That's why the Cortez family is an entire familia who makes San Antonio great.
Wow, so many happy memories there.
That's right, for so many people. You know, and the trip to San Antonio for some isn't complete.
Right, you have to take them there.
Right, right. And if you know somebody else who makes San Antonio great because of what they've done for the city or a neighborhood or a deserving group, let me know. Send me an email at jbrady@kens5.com.